Recently, Typhoon Doksuri swept through Beijing and Tianjin in China. On August 2nd, Beijing experienced 744.8 millimeters of rainfall, the highest in 140 years. Tiananmen Square and Zijincheng, the Forbidden City's central areas, were flooded, a rare occurrence in history. Chinese media reported that hundreds of Beijing, Hebei, and Tianjin residents posted distress messages, mainly from rural areas. Determining the number of people who lost contact, casualties, and those trapped in villages is difficult. Before this, the official publication of the book, Presentation and Analysis of President Xi Jinping's Water Governance, on July 19th, was mocked by many. The book was just published, and there was heavy rain, an immediate confirmation. The people in Muntou-go, the most severely flooded area in Beijing, send congratulations on the book's publication. Tropical storm Doksuri studied the book seriously. My house in Zhuozhou, the most severely flooded area in Hebei province, is thankful for the management. Hebei and Tianjin sacrificed for Beijing. However, during this heavy rain, the most severely affected area was not Beijing, but Muntou-go, in the northwest of Beijing, extending southward to regions. These areas are believed to be used by the government to protect Beijing from floods. China Youth Online reported on July 31st that Jingyang Lake in Hebei province had opened its floodgates, and 20 large and medium-sized reservoirs were also being discharged. Twitter account Overseas News stated that authorities had conveyed internally that to protect Beijing from flooding, they needed to discharge water from Beijing to the Langfang urban area in Hebei, and then to Tianjin, and out to the sea, Hebei province, and the two districts of Jinghai and Xiqing in Tianjin, with a total area of 379 square kilometers, had to hold back the flood for Beijing and help prioritize its discharge. By now, at least 20 large and medium-sized reservoirs near Beijing were opening their gates for release, and areas like Jingyang Lake, Hebei, and Mondao had become flood discharge zones. Emergency evacuation in Baigo town due to flood discharge. In Baigo town, Hebei province, located to the southwest of Beijing, early on August 2nd, residents were informed that those in low-lying areas had to evacuate immediately due to the risk of the Baigo River's embankment breaking. Due to the abrupt occurrence of this event, people panicked, and vehicles on the road jostled one another, resembling an apocalypse-like escape. A video showed many people running at night, with the highway heavily congested. Some people said they had been running from the evening until morning and had yet to leave Baigo. In the video, an extremely distressed man tearfully said they had evacuated and rescued over 100 people that day. The water was rising rapidly, and all those affected by the disaster were calling for help. However, toll booths were still issuing toll cards one after another, causing long queues and provoking anger. Account Junjun Vic posted on Weibo, "I heard that the dam in Hebei might break, and people were urgently evacuated, but they got stuck at the toll booth. Have the consciences of these officials already been devoured by beasts?" Continuous calls for help in Zhuozhou. Zhuozhou, located to the north of Baigo town, was severely affected. The largest Juma River in Zhuozhou meandered and passed through many villages, causing flooding. The whole city was submerged, with water and electricity cut off, and many residents were surrounded by floods and waiting for rescue. A heart-wrenching video showed people from communities near Dashi Tiao Market on National Highway 107 in Zhuozhou crying for help at night. An account named Wu Wenxing posted, "The tragedy of history has been repeated. The rainfall in tropical regions and Taiwan is much higher than in Beijing, but those areas are less flooded. For the past 10 years, China has experienced floods every year. Why hasn't the government found the cause and dealt with it? They always just stand and watch as disasters happen." A video depicted that after Zhuozhou became flooded, all vehicles were destroyed and submerged in water. Residents' homes in Zhuozhou, Hebei were washed away, and the water continued to rise. To survive, they could only climb onto electric poles. One video showed floodwater from heavy rain in Muntou-go, almost submerging moving vehicles, with some drivers climbing onto the roofs of their cars and being swept away by the current. Some netizens revealed that the network signal in Munto Go was cut off to prevent people from live streaming, and hundreds of people had died there. The atrocities were genuinely horrifying.